Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. We've got a fun one for you. Today, we're having Trooper by Robinson's Brewery out of Stockport, England. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, a show we give your unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we're drinking and reviewing. Thank you for checking out this video. There's Jay, there's Andy in the unfinished attic. Finish your house, dude. I'm Ben. What are we drinking tonight?
Robinson's Trooper.
Trooper.
Created by Iron Maiden.
How did Iron Maiden create it?
Let's go.
That's what I want to know.
Well,
It's a premium British beer.
I'm gonna enlighten you, Ben.
That's my question coming into this portion of the show. All right. I brought out my fish and chip glass for this English brew.
Brought out my Nonic Pint, traditional. Can't see it on here because the foam got my little crown there because it's English. Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, nice.
Cheers, mates.
I just have a pint glass.
Yeah, I got a Dixie cup.
Cheers, mates.
Anybody had this one before?
Mm-mm.
No. I have a few buddies that have, but no.
Well, there's two reasons I picked up this beer. The can art, and it was an international beer and English bitter too. So this is a bitter beer, 4.7%, 35 IBUs. I'm going to read from this because I was too tired to write it all down. Trooper takes its name from the Iron Maiden song, which is inspired by the famous Charge of the Light Brigade. Being a real ale enthusiast, vocalist Bruce Dickinson has developed a beer which has true depth of character. So, malt flavors and citric notes form a unique blend of Bobic, Goldings, and Cascade hops. Subtle hint of lemon. So, I had also left myself a little note last night in delirium to read from the can. And are y'all familiar with the Charge of the Light Brigade?
No.
Okay. It's an epic poem. I remember reading it in high school about the Light Brigade. And it was this English brigade, like a light cavalry. The Charge of the Light Brigade, which inspired the Iron Maiden song The Trooper, took place at the Battle of Balaclava, 1854, during the Crimean War, when 600 British cavalry courageously charged the massed Russian artillery. This gallant but foolhardy assault resulted in a massive loss of life and came about due to a misunderstanding of an order given by the commanding officer, Lord Raglan. So, boom.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Is the logo supposed to represent Lord Raglan?
No, it didn't. Nothing that I read specifically said that.
I mean, he has the British flag and he's charging.
But that's a very Iron Maiden.
It is.
Yeah. So this beer was first started in 2013. Iron Maiden, the band, formed in 1975. And actually, they're still touring today. Iron Maiden, which most of us know, is named for a torture device. A solid iron cabinet many times shaped like a coffin or a sarcophagus, with spike-covered interior. Now, there's a bit controversy about this, as it's considered a medieval torture device, but there's no evidence of its existence before the 19th century. So, you know, I was reading on, there's some things saying, well, there was this type of box with these wooden type of spikes in this one country, you know, so the Charge of the Light Brigade was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson, or Tennyson, Alfred Lord, Lord Alfred, what, 1854.
Lord Alfred Tennyson.
Yeah, Lord. I was like Alfred Lord. I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. Lord Alfred Tennyson in 1854.
I got you back.
Thank you. Not long after the actual battle was in 1854. He asked, the thing I was reading is I think he wrote it 6 months later. So on to Robinson's Brewery, Stockport, England, which is in Cheshire. I've read this one thing that said Greater Manchester. My knowledge of what's where, you know, of England and the regions is poor. So it's like telling somebody from another country, it's like, hey, where you live? Oh yeah, Oxford, Mississippi. You know, you're like, I'm down in Mississippi. You know, like, where's that? You know, they know New York and L.A., maybe Miami, that stuff like that.
You don't know where Manchester is?
I know London, Edinburgh.
It's somewhere in between.
I've kind of gotten to know where the Isle of Man is now, thanks to Slurpy Dave.
I don't hold me to this. I'm pretty sure that if you ferry from the Isle of Man into England, Manchester is an option. So it's on that side, the west side of England.
And I know where Dunbar, Scotland is.
Yeah.
Shout out, Don.
Yep. To Don, yeah. So
Robinson's Brewery, going forward, is a regional brewery dating all the way back to 1838. But of course, it wasn't known as that back then. William Robinson purchased the Unicorn Pub, which is also an inn, in 1838. They being a pub, they sold beer and all, but it wasn't until 1849 that his son George, it's a good cat name, Ben, you should name your cat like that.
Yeah,
George Robinson brews the first Robinson's Ale there. Expanded in 1859 by Brother Frederick by buying a warehouse behind it. 1878, they began to buy up public houses to control the quality of the ale. So today, there's about 250 of these pubs around the country, across northwest England and Wales.
The Robinson's Pub or Unicorn Inn.
That seems to be common if you watch, like Slurpy Dave, for example. He's going to pubs in different parts. It'll be a pub owned by the brewery, so they can quality control beer.
That's a European thing too, because I remember seeing some Czech ones, like the Sterpremen was one. But I was just reading or looking on this reel, or maybe it was a TikTok, about somebody doing English pubs, and there was one, was it like not the Green Knight or something green, something like that. And there was a comment, it's like, oh, dude, you know, that's just some franchise pub that's all over the place. But so from their website, they said about 250, and there may have been more, because I've seen a number of 300, but some may have closed. And the company, and Jay, you mentioned the Unicorn. I think that's the main brewing place, you know, where it started. But the other things that I read said they call it Robinson's Brewery. So I think that's bad. It's still run by 5th and 6th generation Robinson family. And they acquired many smaller breweries over the past 110 years. So
I can imagine.
Other than that, I think that's all I got to say.
Well, thank you, Angie. That was a good bit of history.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in a little bit
Covering
about
brewery, covering
Iron Maiden.
beer, covering
I read way
Iron
too
Maiden,
much about
covering
this.
Torch Boys.
I was reading about the band, going too much into it. And
What's like the number one Iron Maiden song? Like, what is there a song I would know? Because I don't. I'm sitting here thinking I don't know that I know an Iron Maiden
oh
song.
gosh, I saved it. Yes. Well, it's no longer saved. No, that's the Charge of the Light Brigade. I don't know. I didn't listen to Iron Maiden.
Leave us a comment. What's a good
Yeah.
Iron Maiden song to check out? Maybe
I remember reading it last night, but man, I was too. I was so done there.
All right. I think we've established that nobody has had this. Per Hopped Up Beer Review tradition, Jay goes first. Jay, what do you think?
Well, one of their songs was called "The Trooper." So
I mean, like, I don't know that song, so I didn't know if there's like
right,
a song that I would recognize. Of course, Iron Maiden was started before we were born, so but
just barely though.
yeah, still, I like to throw that out there so people can think we're young and hip.
No, if we're listening to Iron Maiden, we're old.
I think we proved that we are not Iron
Yeah.
Maiden listeners.
There's been
Their biggest song was "Hallowed Be Thy Name."
I'm just going to put this up real quick. This is from Wikipedia. They've had a lot of different members in their band. Crap, you can't see it, but you can kind of, if I tilt it, this is past members.
Oh yeah.
Current members. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So my turn.
Run to the Hills.
For
That
Hopped
was
Up
it.
Beer
Run to the Hills.
Review tradition. I get to lead everything off.
The leadoff hitter.
Yeah, this is a definite bitter British beer. It's got, I can taste some of the malts. I was trying to pick out that subtle lemon that you said, Andy. I just can't pick it up. It's got the bitter and the malts to me. That's what comes through. Typical for a British bitter like this to me. I think I've probably only ever had a handful of these. I'm not huge into them, so you know it's good. It's something I'm glad we got to share. Appreciate you getting it, Andy. But I'm probably just gonna give this a 7. So
All right, I'll jump in and go next. The English bitters is a style that I actually really like. I'm blanking on which one they have. There's a bar or a pub in the Dallas area called the Londoner. It's meant to be a British pub, and I really have to go look at the menu to see which ones they have. But I've had an English bitter there with fish and chips, and it's just like, I mean, that's this side of England, this is that's a great spot to go to. And so but like you, Jay, I've only had a handful of English bitters. Unfortunately, we just don't get them over here that often. But I really like them. This one, I mean, my can is empty. I've got just half a glass here left on a big can here. So I'm having a hard time not drinking it all during Andy's informational section. I mean, the bitter itself is mild, so for me that's great, and I just like them. For me, this is an 8. So I wish we could get the style more often because again, I tend to like them a lot. But I did not pick up on the lemon either, I will say. Andy?
I'm torn because I do like a good bitter. I like it because they've got the biscuit, little malt to them. And when I first tried it, I was like, yeah, there it is. There's that flavor. But then it's kind of going a little, it's faded the more I have of it, or it's not as crisp or it's kind of going like a little flat tasting to me. I don't know. It hasn't popped like some of the other ones we've had. But it still saves some points because cool can art, and it is still a style that we can't get, even though it's not like one of the better ones I've had. I give this, I would have it again, and I'm going to have it again because I think I got another can. And I give it 6.5. It's close to me. So I wanted it to be better.
That is going to be a 7.2 for Robinson's Trooper Premium British Beer. Definitely one that you should check out if you get the chance to, especially if you're stateside. If you've had this, let us know what you think. We mentioned a couple of other YouTube beer tubers in our conversation earlier. We've mentioned them before, but definitely if you've not done so, go check out Slurpee Dave on the Isle of Man and Don up in Dunbar, Scotland. Put those links down below as long as Andy reminds me to do so. So blame him if they're not there. But I'll put those down below in the description so you can go check out those guys. They do a great job, and I know we all really enjoy their content, so check it out. Appreciate you checking out this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell if you've not done so already. We would definitely appreciate that. We got a bunch of links down below for merch and for some glassware and some other things. So check that out if you have a second. And with that, thanks for watching. Andy in the Attic and Jay. I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.